But we'll move on and address Century Ply, which has also seen healthy returns of over 90% in the current year. And Edelweiss has come out with a report that states that the GST rates shift to organized players and government's focus on housing will boost growth for the company and other players in the housing ancillary space. So to discuss the outlook for Century Ply in further detail, we have with us whole-time director Keshav Bhajanka. Hi Keshav, thanks for joining us this morning. Let me start off with your current capacity in plywood segment and how much more, does the new MDF plant add when it comes to your capacities?
You see, currently our capacity is about 240,000 cubic meters when it comes to plywood. However, our rated capacity is always based on 6 days working. So we can actually increase capacity by about 15% just by extending it to a 7-day working cycle. Currently, we're at about 80% capacity utilization, and I think this is going to ramp up very quickly going forward. MDF adds about 2 lakh cubic meters, but the product is lower priced than plywood. Hence, in terms of turnover, MDF would add about 30 to 35% to our current plywood turnover.
Keshav, how much will the new MDF plan add to your overall top line in the current financial year, and by when do you see it reach the optimum utilization levels?
I believe that this year we would close the year at close to 70% capacity utilization. So we can look at a turnover of close to 140 to 150 crores for the current financial year. And going forward next year, I think we'll ramp up quite quickly. I think we're looking at 90% plus capacity utilization, which is a turnover of 350 crores plus next year.
And apart from Myanmar and Laos, which are the other countries from where you import timber? And do you expect raw material prices to go up? If yes, then what will the impact be on your margins?
You see, normally what we do is we have manufacturing units in Laos and in Myanmar because these countries are banned the export of timber. So we peel logs there and we export the face veneer to India. There are other countries such as the Solomon Islands or Papua New Guinea from where we import logs, from where the export of logs is still allowed. So we import logs from these countries, we peel it in India, and then we use the face veneer produced for our own consumption. These prices are highly variable. It depends on the market conditions. It depends on a lot of factors. But whenever there's a price increase, we normally pass it on to the market. So if there is a price increase in the raw material cost, it never impacts our margins much. It may impact our margins for about a quarter, but after that, our margins stabilize again because we pass on the raw material price increase to the end customer.
Right. Keshav, stay on with us as we just address those important flashes. We've got the November WPI inflation numbers, which have just come out at 3.93% versus Bloomberg estimate of almost 4%. So just slightly below that estimate, but it was largely expected that the number would be higher sequentially. So the November WPI inflation 3.93 versus October of 3.59, as the CPI number, which came out this week, was on the higher side. So it was largely priced in that November WPI will be higher than what the number was seen in the month of October. Okay, then back to our discussion with Keshav. I think the company is also looking to increase its laminate capacity to about 7.2 CMB versus the current one of 4.8 million CMB. Could you tell us what's fueling demand in this segment?
You see, in laminates, we were a smaller player for about the first 7-8 years of our operation. We began our laminate operations in 2004, and for the past few years, we've been able to increase our market share. We've been growing at about 25% per annum. I think this has been fueled by good progress made in the market in terms of gaining market share of competition. And going forward, we are very bullish on this sector. And due to the same, we have increased our capacity. And I believe that within the next 2 financial years, we'll be able to absorb this expanded capacity as well.
And finally, with GST narrowing the gap in pricing between branded and unbranded products, have you managed to capture any market share?
You see, it's too soon to say because when GST initially got rolled out, the e-waiver was deferred. And for the plywood segment, GST was put at 28%. So actually, there was no impact because the unorganized were continuing in the same way that they were earlier. In fact, it became a bit easier for them to transact as compared to say, prior to GST. However, on the 10th of November, the government reduced the GST on plywood from 28 to 18%, and this became effective from the 15th of November. And we've seen good traction in the market post that. So I think there is going to be a shift from the unorganized to the organized sector, and we're already seeing the signs of that happening. But in terms of volumes, I think it will take another quarter or two for it to pan out.
Okay, Keshav, we'll leave it at that. No, thanks a lot for joining us today and taking us through the developments at Century. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Trend Spotting. Thanks a lot for watching the show. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next is Hot Money with Darshan Mehta.